What's going on YouTube? So Mazda has introduced quite a few new products over the last couple years, and this Mazda CX-30 is the newest of them. It is their stylish and premium subcompact crossover that launched to rave reviews last year. And now for 2021, it is getting even better with some new standard equipment. But is it the best in the segment? Let's go ahead and get into the review and find out. Now, of course, one of the main reasons that one might want to buy the CX-30 is because this is a very stylish crossover, and that starts up here in the front. So this uses the newest version of the Mazda grille, which has a nice wide appearance. You have the chrome trim that traces around it, and then the inside is going to be a matte finish on your lower two trims or this high gloss finish on your upper two trim levels. Now, to finish up the upscale front design, we have really premium looking full LED headlights that are actually standard on every single trim level, which is very impressive. On this premium, they have adaptive abilities. And then down below, you won't find a fog light, but you will find a turn signal that has a cool fading effect. As we come around the vehicle, you get to the wheels, and Mazda has nicely included these 18-inch gray finished alloys on all but the very base trim level, and that comes with a 16-inch alloy. And then coming up here to your mirrors, there's not really a lot going on. We do have the fading turn signal again on this trim level. We also have blind spot monitoring, and that's going to be standard on all but the base model. Now here at this side of the CX-30 is really where you're going to see the sloping and kind of really cool design that this vehicle brings to the table, especially in this segment. Now, as far as the rear itself, they are going to have a very premium upscale look, just like the front did. So we do have full LED tail lights, standard across the board, which is really exceptional for this class, even the turn signal and reverse slider LED. And then dropping down, we have some more of that black cladding, and we also have dual exhaust standard across all the trims. Now, it's very impressive what Mazda has done with their safety system, since they've included the entire iActive Safety Sense suite standard on all of the models. So yes, that does mean that even the base model is going to have adaptive cruise, auto high beam headlamps, and forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection. But anyway, that's going to sum up the stylish and swoopy design of this CX-30. I know Mazda has some pretty cool stuff on the inside, so let's check that out. But before we do that, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. So on the CX-30, every single version will come with Mazda's new key fob, which has the buttons on the side. However, you will have to get at least the select model if you want smart entry. Now the models with smart entry, they also have the updated door handles, which have sensors behind them. Alright, so looking inside of this cabin, you really have to remind yourself what class of vehicle this CX-30 actually competes in, because it is an extremely premium and upscale looking cabin. Now this is the fully loaded premium model, so of course you are going to lose a little bit of luxury on those lower end trim levels. So for your base model, that's going to come with cloth seating and black only. The select and preferred models, those come in leatherette seating in your choice of black or grayish. Now when you go up to this premium version here, we have the real leather, we have the black with brown accents, or you can also get a white option. And turning over here to the door trim, you will see those same nice materials. So you have the brown leatherette that runs across the armrest as well as above it, and it is soft touch along the top. All four of your windows will also be one-touch automatic. And additionally, you will find your memory seating right there. As far as the seats themselves, these are going to be 8-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support. standard equipment on the preferred and higher. And then, like I was already mentioning, we do have real leather seating with the perforations. Really a nice looking seat and extremely comfortable. So you'll hear me say it a lot throughout this review, but the Mazda CX-30 really punches above its class in a lot of ways, including with the materials. So your entire upper dash, this is going to be finished in a brown leatherette with a color contrast stitching detail. And then dropping down, we have another softer type of leatherette that runs all through the middle areas. As we go down, we have a few hard touch plastics, a bunch of leatherette down here on the console, as well as piano black trim. And everything in here does fit together really well, and of course just looks very upscale. Now across the entire CX-30 lineup, just press the button to start. Now after it's finally finished with all that dinging, you can check out the gauges. So this is one of the upscale features of this CX-30 because we have the digital 7-inch gauges as standard equipment across all of the trim levels, and you can just press the info button on the steering wheel to cycle through a lot of different information, and inside of the main display you can even customize what's on the sides. And then in addition to that, on the premium model you also have a projection style head-up display, which I think is the only vehicle in the class to actually offer that. Now coming back to the steering wheel, of course we have electric power assisted steering. We also have a leather wrap steering wheel on all but the very base model with the newest Mazda design. Now back behind that you will also find updated switchgear to the newest Mazda design, and they throw in rain sensing wipers on all the models, even the base trim level. Now as far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping, however heating is not available. Okay, so let's roll on into the storage. Now, we'll start out under our center console. This does open a little bit differently than a normal vehicle, so you slide it back, and then it lifts out of place. So once inside, you're gonna notice you have plenty of storage areas, a nice felt lining down at the bottom, and a removable partition in the middle. And even with that partition in place, we can slide those coupons in there, no problem. So we could actually double the amount have a double stack for all your family's couponing needs. Up in front of that we have 2 cup holders. We also have another storage area. This could be optioned to be a wireless phone charging pad as a standalone option. Now checking out the shifter. This is just a traditional style shifter, so you pull back for drive of course, and you can bump to the left if you want to do some manual shifting. Now since we've got the premium trim level, that does also throw in these paddle shifters. And then when we go into reverse, you will find a standard backup camera. We do not have active trajectory on board, but I do want to mention that the resolution in this is much higher than the Mazda CX-5 signature that we had a couple weeks ago. Definitely looks a lot crisper on this CX-30. And then right beside that, you do have an electronic parking brake as well as a brake hold function. Now next to that, this is our Mazda Connect controller, which you use to control the infotainment system. And then you also have your volume knob. Now on this premium as well as the preferred model, we actually have a 12 speaker Bose premium sound system. So we'll go ahead and take a sample of that. Wow, is all I have to say. This is definitely the best sounding sound system I've ever heard in a vehicle inside of this class. Alright, so let's move on up the dashboard. So Mazda keeps things nice and clean and simple. We just have our climate controls located right there. Now the base model, that's going to come with manual climate control. Everything else will have this dual zone automatic setup with 2 nice big easy to use knobs. I'm not sure why it's in Celsius right now, but we do have buttons as well for our fans and zones. Now below that, you're going to notice we have 3-stage heated seats. Those are going to be included on the preferred model and higher. And then finally up here at the very top, this is where you'll see your Mazda Connect infotainment system paired with the standard 8.8-inch display across all the models. Now this is not a touch screen because it is too far away, as you can tell, so you will have to use that Mazda controller down on the dashboard. So let's talk about what's new this year. I've got it on Android Auto right now, and that's because that is a new feature to the base trim level. So the base trim level previously was excluded from Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. That is no longer the case. Now, none of the models come with integrated navigation. However, since you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, of course you can just navigate over to like Google Maps or something like that and see things like your satellite map. Now moving on up here, we do have a manual dimming mirror. Then up at the very top, you will find a moonroof that's included on this premium trim level only. Of course, it's not a panoramic moonroof, but you don't expect to see that in this class. Now here in the rear areas, this is where you might expect that the CX-30 is going to be a little bit smaller than some of the competition. And I'm happy to say that it actually is right on par with other stuff in the segment like the Toyota CHR as well as the Honda HR-V. Now your technical measurements are 36 inches of rear legroom and 38 inches of rear headroom, which is, like I said, right in the middle. And behind rear seating position, I have about 2 inches of rear legroom, and my feet can slide up under the seat, so it's really not too bad overall for full-size adults back here. And then Mazda does also throw in some features which is very rare for this segment. We have vents, so that's definitely nice to see, especially within this segment. And then we also have a fold-down armrest with cup holders inside. Now walking up to the tailgate, you're going to find a pretty rare feature for this segment, and that's that we have a power liftgate. That's going to be included only on the top-end premium, but to have it offered is definitely a benefit for this segment. Now, as far as the space itself, you're going to have 20 cubic feet behind the second row. If you fold it, it expands to 45 cubic feet as a maximum, which is on par with most in the segment, like the Toyota CHR. However, it is a touch behind the Chevy Trailblazer. And as far as how they finished it, in typical Mazda fashion, they've done a good job. So you do have carpeting along the floor. If we lift it up, we have a spare tire. Off to the side, we have LED lighting. And then to fold the seats, all you have to do is locate the button up on the seat back, and then it will fold right down. Now, even on this fully loaded model, we do still have a manual passenger seat. And then in front, we have it's a good sized glove box. It's not massive, so don't be expecting to put an entire arsenal of coupons like what we have in there, like super well, but it definitely has enough space for some. And then up top, we do have a sun visor with mirror LED light, and it does also detach and have an extension in the end. Up to 55 miles an hour uphill in this CX-30. Now, one of the nice things about the CX-30, amongst the other things, of course, is that Mazda skips the base engine. So you go straight to a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with 186 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque, which is, more than what most of the competition is going to offer you, definitely at the base level. Oh, for sure. Yeah, most of them are going to have at least like a turbo engine, and in the case of like the Toyota CHR, you're looking at like less than 150 horsepower. So that's a really significant power boost over a lot in the segment. And the current rumor, nothing's confirmed yet, but the rumor about is that the turbo engine will find its way into the CX-30, just like it's going to find its way into the Mazda 3. So that's exciting. That's going to be really cool, and that would really bring power to a new level inside of this class. as far as your transmission, what you got on board is a 6-speed automatic. Much of the competition comes with continuously variable transmission, so for those of you that appreciate a traditional transmission, you do have that here with the Mazda. As you just saw demonstrated, it is plenty responsive. When you put your foot down, it kicks down into the correct gear, and it definitely shifts seamlessly in the background in a way that you could just nicely ignore it.
Yeah. And it is also worth noting, for the drivetrains, you're going to have front-wheel drive standard, and then all-wheel drive is available on every single trim level, which is a very nice touch. Some in the segment don't offer all-wheel drive at all, and it's definitely nice that they give you the option, if you want a base trim, that you can still option on the all-wheel drive for peace of mind. Now getting up to speed there, I will go ahead and get a sound level reading.
We're going to be going 50 miles an hour.
Looks like we're going to be sitting at 57 decibels, which is a very, very respectable figure for this segment of vehicle. I would say most in this segment will probably be pushing 59, almost to 60, because it's a cheaper segment, so they're not going to have as much sound deadening. And I want to point out just how Mazda has really kept this a premium experience by not cheaping out and stuff like that.
And the ride quality as well. I really like the way that this takes a bump. It feels like it has that solidity, just like some of the other Mazdas that just don't feel common to mainstream vehicles. Kind of a luxury solidity. Like when you go over a bump, it feels like everything is one piece, and it really absorbs it nicely. It just kind of goes with the overall luxury vibe that this car puts off, which is today's slam dunk as well. So we might as well talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it just, when you get in this vehicle, you can just like hit on stuff and everything is solid, like he was mentioning. So it really is exceptional for this class.
Yeah, definitely number one in luxury and upscale environment.
Now our air ball is going to be the fuel economy for this CX-30, which I will go ahead and tell you about. So the front wheel drive is going to come in at 25 city, 33 highway, 28 combined, and then if you go for all wheel drive like what we have here, that's going to be 26 combined. So that is a pretty significant decrease in what you're going to find in the average thing in this segment. So that is just something to consider. You are going to have a decrease in fuel economy for going and getting, you have more power. So it's kind of pros and cons there, but that's today's air ball.
Now we talked about all the, crossover family types of items. But let's talk about the one thing that the CX-30 just really stands out about from like regular crossovers, and that is driving dynamics. Mazda, they always put good driving dynamics in all their cars, no matter what the price point is, and that does go for this CX-30 as well. This really is a joy to drive. Really feels nice and buttoned down.
Now I'll finish us up by talking about the pricing. So for the base model, that's going to start at $21,900. If you go for the Select, that's $23,900, Preferred $26,300, and then this Premium, which is what we have here, is $28,550. And that's worth noting that the base price does not increase even $1 for 2021. Now we do have like the paint options as well as the destination charge of $1,045, which brings this one's total to $30,955. And that is right at the very top of what you can get the CX-30. I think it's as expensive as you can get it, and that's really pretty much on par with the competition. It is maybe a little bit more expensive than like a CHR or something like that, but you are definitely getting a lot more here.
So to conclude, I'm sure you are not asking at this point, do we like it or not? Because obviously we do like this CX-30 quite a lot. Subcompact crossovers, they range a lot in the way that they perform as well as the way they're equipped. and many of them are, you know, they feel very budgety, you know, and they do feel the part of the cheapest crossover in that brand's lineup. But this really doesn't feel that way at all. This still feels like a full upscale experience. In some ways, it actually has more equipment and the latest technology from the more than the Mazda CX-5. So, you know, if you're in the market for a subcompact crossover, I think you've got to come check out the CX-30. Well guys, that's all for this in-depth look at the 2021 Mazda CX-30 Premium. We really hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, be sure to pay us back by hitting that subscribe button down below, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.